Hello, everyone. My name is Patrick McClaflin. I'd like to tell you about how much God has been in my life throughout my entire life, but especially in the last 30 years. In the mid 90s, I started having issues with hand pain and hand numbness. They were diagnosing me with having carpal tunnel syndrome and tendonitis and things like that. After a couple of years of that, they figured out that my neck vertebrae were rubbing together. So I had my first neck operation in 95, I think it was. The doctor told me, he said, "You're going to be good to go as long as you don't get hit by a train." Within 6 months, I was back in there for them having to do another surgery. Once they fixed one disc, the one above it or below it usually went out within a matter of time. Sometimes I'd have 6 months, sometimes I'd have a year go by, but that kept happening several times. I was aware then just how much God was with me and how many times He had saved my life. In 2018, I started having trouble walking. I couldn't walk. It came on very quickly. And of course, we thought that I had another vertebrae that needed to be operated on or something. So we made an appointment with the neurosurgeon and everything. They did a series of MRIs from my head to my tail and couldn't see anything wrong. Well, this doctor consulted with other doctors, and for some reason they came up with the diagnosis of Guillain-Barré syndrome. So they started treating me for that. Things still were continuing to get worse. So he says the next time, I was in and out of the hospital at this time, the next time this happens to you, go to Vanderbilt or UAB, because we can't do anything further for you. So, of course, the next week or so, I got worse, couldn't walk. My sons had to carry me down our stairs to get in the car to go to Birmingham. In the meantime, I was being prescribed large doses of steroids to try to get me to be able to walk. It would work for a short amount of time and then stop working, and they'd increase the steroids. Back to when my wife took me to Huntsville Hospital emergency room, they said during one of the stays after Vanderbilt hospital stay, they sent me home to do IVIG treatment, which is IV medicine. It was a cancer medicine. I was due to have 2 more treatments on that, and then I was going to go into a nursing home because I couldn't get up and down our stairs at home. It turns out that I was supposed to have 1 more treatment, but my wife had brought me to Huntsville Hospital ER again, and the hospitalist on duty was a very key person in my survival. He was talking with my wife, asking her to go over my records 1 more time, and going over the records with her 1 more time to see if there was anything they could do for me, as far as they had tried things like changing my diet and want me to go on special diet and different things like that. But the fact is I was dying. My fingernails had turned black. My organs were shutting down. Had to be on a catheter. During this hospital stay, the last one before they were going to put me in a nursing home, my wife made a last ditch effort with the hospitalist, asking if they would review my records one more time. And she noted in there that, look, he has instability at C1, C2. They've noted that. He's not going to survive until the appointment in August. Can you get neurologist on call to review my records one more time? Well, again, another key person in this story is Dr. Jason Banks, and his assistant at the time agreed to review my records one more time. He got several x-rays of me, but everyone was still thinking Guillain-Barré at this time. He happened to read in a medical journal several months earlier about a new procedure that identifies issues with instability in C1, C2 level of your spine. That's right against the base of your skull. He did was put me in an x-ray, sitting down, looking up with my mouth open is the only way you could see this problem. Again, they had done many x-rays and MRIs, CT scans, everything, and couldn't see any other issues. But he thought he knew what was wrong with me, and turns out he was right. He says to my wife and I that we have a choice between dynamite and a hand grenade. His thinking was the best case scenario is I would survive the operation, but probably be on a ventilator, if not paralyzed. He diagnosed C1, C2 level was being strangled. And that's the reasoning my fingernails had turned black and the other symptoms, my organs were shutting down. Up until this time, keep in mind at Vanderbilt, I had a team of doctors, 7 doctors, and everyone was convinced that it was Guillain-Barré syndrome. So once we finally figured out the real issue of the C1, C2, the doctor informed the family how serious it was and that I was dying. And I could wait to have this surgery and try to get stronger, but the strangulation would continue to happen and I would more than likely deteriorate. Dr. Banks had trouble getting a hold of my original surgeon to okay a course of action for him to do surgery on me. I was on Xarelto, which is a blood thinner, so I would need to come off of that right away to do the surgery. They couldn't just bring me into surgery. We couldn't get a hold of that doctor for like hours and hours. Everyone was pulling together. Within days, the hospitalist, my wife, was trying to organize all these things. Everyone was trying to get a hold of this other neurologist to change my records to where I could be off the medication. We happened to hear his shoes in the hallway. We were there so often in the hospital that we got to recognize his shoes clicking in the hallway. Well, she heard him, of course, jumped up and got to the elevator with him and told him the urgency of the situation. He immediately got with Dr. Banks. They stopped the Xarelto and the other medications and started getting me ready, try and be healthy enough to survive this surgery. Again, the C1, C2 level is very life-threatening. I had family from all over the United States coming in. I had a network of churches praying for me. I had just incredible support. I mean, hundreds of people praying for me. And I could feel it. I could feel it. I felt the sense of peace that everything would be okay. My doctor was not so sure at this point. I had the operation. It went just hours, and now it was a really long operation, very complicated. he expected me to be in ICU for at least 30 days the next day. Turns out I was in ICU for only 3 days. I was up and walking and out of pain. It was incredible that, and everyone was just as happy as we were. We expected a good outcome, so much so that during this time we sold our home in Huntsville in the city and decided to buy a farm, which we always wanted. I grew up farming and always wanted a farm of our own. We decided that life was too short. God is going to pull us through this. So we decided to take the plunge and buy a farm here, property. My son bought the farm next door. Now we raise cattle. It's a very good environment for my grandchildren. I don't know why God has spared me so many different times. I often ask that. I wonder if it's maybe to tell the story to you all that prayer absolutely works. I have complete faith in God and that prayer works. He's been with me in numerous situations other than these physical operations. He's, kept me alive and here today to be able to tell this story. I feel I've left a lot of details out, I'm sure, but I've gone through 27 of the back operations. To be standing and walking today is just a miracle in itself. I'm basically held together like Tinker Toys, an erector set. And I didn't realize in the beginning how much God was with me. I knew it. Yes, God's with me. He's with me. But he's really opened my eyes as to, why. Why did he allow me to survive all those many times? And it could possibly be to tell the story to others and to encourage others that even though life seems like your life is going to be ending, some situations like this is life changing, but not life ending. And I would like to encourage anyone that's going through any similar situation. I'm just here to tell you that situations look bleak many times, but as long as we keep our faith in God and know that He's here with us, He answers prayers. My wife has been instrumental in support mentally, physically. God bless me from an early age. I certainly don't deserve her. But she has always been on top of my medical records. And while we were going through all this in 2017, 18, there was just tons of paperwork, tons of reports. I was having test after test after test. And it can get quite overwhelming. But she was always on top of, what else can we do? A nursing home can't be the answer. Is there one more thing that you can try to help him? She's been my champion through all of this, and I certainly wouldn't be as far as I am now without her. We've been together since high school. She's given us 2 wonderful boys who are instrumental in the farm now. They've pretty much taken everything over, of course. We have grandkids that we're very proud of. They're in our lives every day. At first I thought, well, maybe God's keeping me here to, help raise these grandkids and all, but I think it's more than that. I hope people understand that just prayer. God answers prayers every day. We see some of the things, but a lot of them we don't see. There's so many unseen blessings that God gives us that we sort of take for granted, In all of this, I've tried to maintain the attitude of realizing that there's always someone who has it worse off than we do. You know, I don't have any anger at the misdiagnosis and all of that. I'm surviving, thriving, and here to pass on the word that God helps. That's all. In saying all of this, if I had to walk this walk all over again, I would do it. If there's a reason God wants me to go through this, if I can help someone by encouraging them that it's okay, life is going to be okay, you know. My name is Patrick McClaflin, and this is my story.